You are offered $1 million if you can hide a pair of car keys from the entirety of the FBI force for 7 days. Where do you hide the keys? Easy. I just keep them on my person for a few hours. Inevitably, I will lose them, and even the entirety of the FBI tearing apart my whole house won't be able to find the damn keys. If the media has taught me anything, it's that you should bury the keys in the woods. Then bury a dead body on top of them and then a dead animal on top of the body. The dogs will find the animal, and if the FBI decides to investigate further they'll find the body, but at that point nobody will go, "Oh, I'm sure the keys are under here." Take a vacation abroad. FBI aren't going to be very effective where they have zero jurisdiction. Take the imprint of the keys. Melt the keys. After 7 days, use that taken imprint mold to retrieve the keys. Where do you hide the imprint? In my butt, duh. They'll definitely search there. I'm counting on it. Put them in the mail. Send them to an address that does not exist in a foreign country. They will come back in a few weeks, months. Send them UPS ground to your next door neighbor. That'll still take about 9 days. Duct tape it inside a Starbucks cup. Drive to a part of town where tomorrow is garbage day. Leave it in some random person's garbage bin by the street. I would call their office directly with a tip on where they are, and watch them never follow up on it. It's foolproof. Yes, this set of keys is threatening to Pitt's school. Yeah, there are postings online, texts, and voicemails of his that corroborates that and scare me. They're here on my desk at this address. Yes, I believe the keys already own some guns. Truly a foolproof plan, they'll never come by. Put them in a sock, put the sock in the dryer, repeat until it goes to wherever socks go when they disappear from the dryer. Downside, they'll be gone forever. Haven't you realized that when the socks disappear they come back as random Tupperware lids? I'd tape them to my desktop and open incognito mode. I'll give them to my 3-year-old to hide. Good luck finding them after that. No. If you ask your 3-year-old to hide them they'll do a shit job. You hand them over and say, "This is very important. I need you to keep track of these for 7 days and that will guarantee they never get found." On the 3rd page of Google search. Page 1 of Bing. Is destroying, disfiguring allowed? If so, I would take as many keys I could get my hands on and put them on different rings so that there is at least one almost identical match on 4 or 5 of them, and hide them in the following places: 1 within a private property that has high security, like a bank, as the main decoy, 1 underwater on the beach, 1 out of the city, 1 underground, and 1 in a dead body at a morgue. No reason in particular. I may call these trips very obvious, as they will definitely follow me. And after placing the 1 at the bank, pretend to have troubles with the car. But where I've really put it is at a grocery store. I would stop it on the way, in the fresh produce aisle. Why? As someone who worked at one, even though they tried to keep stuff fresh with cold air and preservatives and stuff, it only lasts so long. They then toss it, where it goes to the compost, which is either reused or put in a dump. Either way, it has to move to several locations on the way, with many splits and such. And if they have enough manpower to search all the possible locations, give them a round of applause. Assuming I get a day of prep time, and that I can't damage the keys to the point that they are unrecognizable, microwave the keys. Gotta fry any electronics inside of them. Buy a key ring, and a heart-shaped keychain. Write a time and date on the key ring, along with a phone number. Call at this date. Walk up to a random person, do a small favor for them. Tell them to do a favor for someone they care about, then give them the keys, and to keep the chain going. Chaotic system created. I don't know where the keys are. The FBI has to get a warrant for every person in the chain. And if the keys are lost, or thrown in the garbage, all the better. Good luck finding them. There's a small chance that the FBI will be given the keys, but I like my odds. I'd just leave them on an airplane. If the airline can't find my Nintendo Switch that I left on it, I doubt anyone is gonna find some keys. I used to work for an airline and had to clean the planes after flights. I can guarantee that it was pocketed by a worker. We don't make much anyway. Also, every airline has a don't talk about it policy we all just go with and only turn in the stuff if the owner asked about it or if the device has a tracking device in it. The managers don't even try to find the owners, even if there is a name on it. They get a reward the more stuff they send to headquarters for valuable lost items. To me that's messed up, and personally, I have no need for another phone or device or anything. By the time I caught on to the manager's benefit of it all, I started keeping the stuff I found like Kindles and iPads and stuff and mailed them to the owners or reported to the company where they relayed the message. Was gonna say but my uncle works for the FBI. I'll let you know when the 7 days are up. Edit_OK. I couldn't wait 7 days, but doing a quick search no one seems to have mentioned my hiding place, which is a huge plus. Lol. So, I'm guessing the rules for this would be that you had to recover the key at the end of the 7 days and not destroy it, otherwise you could just totally destroy it or just throw it somewhere it's impossible to get, which would be more losing than hiding. Or you could attach them to a helium balloon and wave goodbye to ever seeing them again as they floated off into the sky. So, my hiding place is a two-part thing. First part is to make copies of the key. These will be placed in obvious, but not so obvious hiding places. Hole in the ground, under floorboards in the house, safety deposit box, locker, PO box, posted to me, etc. So if one is found I can pretend it's the real one and wait out the 7 days, then inform them it's not. I figure I'd be followed to any location to hide it. It is the FBI and $1 million we're talking about, so the hiding place would have to be pretty good and not an obvious one, somewhere along the way of places you're supposed to be, not out of the ordinary. So you couldn't just fly to another country, because this would be totally obvious that you have gone there to hide it. I would glue some magnets to the keys, or put them in a small metal box with magnet if they have some kind of keyless entry signal. Whilst out shopping, find a shelf that is metal, lower down so it's out of eye view, and whilst browsing for my weekly shopping, stick it to the underside of a shelf. No one would suspect because I would have already thrown them off by hiding the decoy keys by making it obvious I'm going to locations to hide them. This reminds me of a story. One time when we were little, like under 3, my dad lost his keys. Turned the house upside down. Even tried to talk to 2 toddlers trying to figure out if we had hid them. It had just snowed. So my poor dad is outside cold, miserable, slowly going over the snow with a rake. My mom walks up behind him and pulls the keys out of his back pocket. They had been there the whole time. Kinda feel like going and throwing them in a snowbank or a freshly snowed parking lot that is about to be shoveled and removed. We were on a cruise once and my mum lost her nice camera on one of our stops. We obviously only had a few hours before we might never be on that island again, so she makes us all hop back in a taxi and revisit every place we had been that day. She checks each one by one. Now my dad had already asked her, "Are you sure it's actually missing?" Which of course did not merit a friendly response. After an hour or 2 of driving around, she gives up. Just about that time, she moves one little item at the bottom of her giant purse to see a camera. She was extremely embarrassed, but we all got a quality laugh out of it. This reminds me of a mean prank I played on my dad over 10 years ago. Me, my dad, stepmom and step-siblings were eating out when the waitress came to take our trays. In that moment, I decided to take my dad's car keys. We all got in the car to leave and he realized he didn't have them, so he went back inside to our table and or the front area and asked some waitress, or waiter, possibly ours, if she'd seen the keys. Dad came to the conclusion that they must have been accidentally thrown away when the waitress took our trays, so he dug through garbage in the kitchen looking for his keys. He finally comes outside to the car again and I let him know what is up. He was a little upset at first, but that was it. He got revenge on me not too long after that, though, and in a pretty gross way too. Please consider liking, commenting and subscribing.